everyone, Tim Stoddard here, and in today's video, I am going to show you why I believe a local SEO / a Google business agency is the best business for you to start, especially if you are new in your entrepreneurial career. So let's dive right into it. As always, I have put my trusty outline together for you. The outline is going to be in the link of the description to the video. Feel free to make a copy of this and reference it and do whatever you want with it. This is for you. All right. So why a Google business local SEO agency is the best business for you to start? Well, first, we need to talk about what a Google business local SEO agency is. And the best way to give you the definition of a local SEO agency is simply just to show you. So let's say that I am looking for a plumber and I live in Denver. So I'm going to say best plumbers in Denver. Well, the fact that I put a location in my search query is drastically going to change how the SERP, the search engine results page. So anytime you go into Google and you type something and you hit enter, whatever displays is the SERP. So the SERP is going to look drastically different if you are searching via a location than it would if you're searching for an online product for you to buy, than it would if you're searching for like a question that you have to answer, what we usually call like a long tail search. Okay, so the fact that I'm looking for best plumbers in Denver, the SERP is going to list me the ads at the top. You can tell they're ads because they say sponsored. It's disclosed. And this is interesting. This is important to pay attention to because these are ads for the Google business profile, which is exactly what we're going to be working on. And so this is like a cool opportunity. I'm not going to go that much into it, but you can also start an advertising agency through Google Business because you can advertise the ads as opposed to what this is, which is advertising a website click as well. Or excuse me, you can advertise the profile as opposed to running ads to a website click. So the ads are always at the top. Remember, Google is an advertising platform. That's really what Google is. It's just an ad platform. It's an ad auction. So the ads are at the top. Underneath the ads, there is this. And this is called the local pack. So everybody does this all the time and they don't even realize that they're doing it. So let's say you go to a new city and you're looking for a new restaurant and you type in restaurant near me. Well, especially when you're on mobile, you see this little map with these like red little pins and you see these listings. Well, if you're in the top 3, that's called the local pack. And if you want to see more listings, you have to click this button right here, this more business button. And hardly anybody ever clicks that, right? So if you're not in the local pack, then you're basically nowhere to be found. And the beautiful thing about it is that when you get your business or your customers' businesses into the local pack, they get all of the results. So it's a very, very effective marketing tactic. If you're running a Google business agency or a local SEO agency, we call it, you can deliver real tangible results to your customers and they're going to love you for it, right? They're going to pay you month over month forever because you're going to be generating so many leads for them. So this is what we call the local pack. And underneath the local pack is the organic search results. So it's kind of a loaded statement because SEO is like a broad term. SEO just means you're optimizing websites, listings, inventory, products to be found through search engines. Search engine optimization. You're optimizing websites for the search engines, SEO. And so organically, websites show up. In the local pack, your Google business database, your Google business profile shows up. And what's so fascinating and why I believe this is such a good business model about the local pack is that Google owns all of this. This is a separate database. This isn't websites that other people own that Google is just serving the information for. If you're in the local pack, then you're basically part of Google's business directory. And obviously Google has the biggest business directory in the world because so much of their business directory is tied in to Google Maps. So this is how Google knows where your business is when you're searching for directions or even where how to call a business when you put in the business. And if I were to be on mobile, if I were on a cell phone, there'd be a button that says call now, right? So this is how the whole thing is done. And this right here, this service, getting local businesses in the local pack and also getting local businesses to rank organically and also getting local businesses at the very top of the search engines through advertising, I believe this is one of the biggest opportunities in the whole entrepreneurial ecosystem right now. Okay, now that I have explained to you what a Google Business Agency is, I'm going to give you the reasons why I think it's so opportunistic for you right now. The biggest reason is that there's hardly any upfront capital required to start an agency. And this is a lot different from building like a tech product or even a media company. If you were to create a newsletter or a SaaS product, you have to invest a lot of money and a lot of time into building a product or building a media platform that people are interested in. With an agency, none of that is true. You only need to get a client. You don't necessarily need a website. You don't need a brand. You don't even need a business card. You just need a client. You need a paying customer. And as soon as you have that, you are a profitable business. And so there's low initial investment. The primary requirement for starting a successful agency is simply to get customers. And you can do that through your local chamber of commerce. You can do that simply just by walking down the street and knocking on doors. Nobody ever does this, but it works. It's very effective. And agencies, Google business agencies in particular, are profitable from the very beginning. So it's not like you have to make an investment and then generate revenues to eventually pay off your investment until you become a profitable business. If you have a client, you're profitable, right? Let's say your first client pays you $500 a month. Well, you don't have any hosting expenses, you don't have any tech stack that you need to be mindful of. You can run your whole agency off of Google Sheets, Google Docs, and your effort, your work. So for that reason, if you're just getting started as an entrepreneur, it's very, very, very advantageous for you to start a Google business agency and a local SEO agency. Okay, reason number two, there's a very high demand and a prevalence of brick and mortar businesses in the United States. So many people forget this because we spend so much of our time online and we think that the economy runs on like attention and influencers and YouTube videos, and that's not true. The vast majority of the US economy is still in local brick and mortar businesses. A significant portion of the US economy comprises of brick and mortar businesses. And this is fascinating. In 2023, brick and mortar retail sales, and remember, this is just after COVID. So this is when like brick and mortar retail was plummeting, totaled $7.051 trillion. That's 85% of all US retail sales. Yes, Amazon is a huge company. They've clearly changed the world, especially when it pertains to retail. But the US economy still runs off of brick and mortar businesses. And this isn't just for retail. This is for local contractors, home service cleaners, local accountants, local lawyers. Anytime you drive down the street and you see a sign that is promoting a business that is on that street, that is a local brick and mortar business that needs to promote themselves to the local population. And that's what a Google business agency gives you the opportunity to do. You are tapping into what is like the most liquid market in the world. So here's a really cool graph just because I like visualizations, and these ones are projections. So the source for this, it's all in the spreadsheet. So if you want to check it out, was Capital One actually. So this is all data from Capital One. And brick and mortar retail revenue continues to climb. And you can see that there was like a slight blip in 2020 during COVID, and then it climbed and it climbed and it climbed, and the projections say that it will continue to climb. So this isn't going anywhere. Like local businesses, local retailers, local service companies are going to continue to dominate the economy, the world economy. It's just in this particular data set, it's the US Census Bureau. All right. And in addition, there's such an abundance of clients. I mean, every time I drive down the street, I've used this example before, right? We drop our kids off at daycare in the morning. And every time I go by there, I'm thinking this whole entire street is, if I just get every single local business on this block, not even this neighborhood, just on this block, I'm doing $2 million in revenue a year. There's bars, there's restaurants, there's local gyms, there's coffee shops, there's yoga studios, right? All of these local businesses need to promote themselves to the local demographic, to the local population. If I just get one city block, I mean, obviously this is a simplistic comparison, but if I just get one city block worth of clients, I'm doing $2 or $3 million a year. All right. And the third reason why I think a Google business agency is such a great idea is because the nature of local search is going to be dominated by Google for months and months and years. So let me stop sharing my screen for a second and really highlight this point, because one of the questions I get most frequently, and one of the biggest concerns I get from people when I'm teaching online marketing or if I'm teaching people in agency clarity is, but isn't AI going to kill SEO? And, in some instances, yeah, that's probably going to be true. Like media blogs and like affiliate blogs and traditional SEO businesses, or I should say businesses that have traditionally used SEO to generate revenue, I think the AI is going to wipe all of them out. However, Google has such a stranglehold on local search that is very, very, very difficult for AI to capitalize on that market, because remember, Google owns the database. It's called Google Business Profile. It is quite literally a Google owned asset. And so Google is never going to let Perplexity or OpenAI or Claude tap in to their database to serve local business listings. If somebody goes to Perplexity or something and they search for a local business, that all has to be scraped through the internet. And it's just never going to happen, right? Google, they have that market, they have a stranglehold on it. And I'll show you an example of search queries that are still dominated by Google and search queries that are beginning to be dominated by AI. But for the time being, and at least for the next 5, 10, 15 years, I believe that Google will continue to own all of this local search. So let's dive back into the outline and I'll give you some examples. Okay, so this is a chart from marketingcharts.com. I'll click on the source just so I can give you the direct information. This was in 2024. Mind you, AI was very much a thing in 2024. This isn't old archived data. Google search accounted for 72% of all local business information, all local business search queries, while Google Maps accounted for 51% of it. So not only is Google search meaning the organic results, right? This, when people are searching for links on a website, and even the way they account for it is still probably that this counts as Google search as opposed to somebody opening up the Google Maps app and looking at it that way. So yeah, like Google still owns local search, and that's just not going to change. And in addition, 51% of customers use Google Maps for the same purpose. So we have this same data that was aggregated here, but this was a separate source from Backlinko, just because I like to come right with the facts. It's very, very clear that Google owns the local search market and that they're going to continue to own the local search market for at least the next decade. And as like a highlight to this fact, I want to give a different example as to what AI is taking over and what they're not. So for example, best plumbers in Denver, we already went through this. This is going to serve you local search results. There's no AI here. Gemini is not on this page. But if I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to search, how do I fix a pipe in my house? Well, this is interesting because there's still ads on this. Of course there is. Google is an advertising platform primarily. And these two ads both run through Google Business, through the Google Business Profile, which means that there's like another opportunity for you to create a Google Business Agency, except instead of SEO, you're running advertising. And then boom, right here. Here's the AI, right? Here's the AI overview directly through Gemini, directly on Google, right? So this is crazy. Why would anybody, if Google's just going to answer this question for you, then how likely is it that these organic search results and even these videos are going to get the same amount of clicks that they would before AI was implemented into Google? And the answer is like not nearly as likely. Obviously, the probability of somebody clicking on one of these links as opposed to just getting the answer themselves is severely diminished. But just to reiterate, there is no AI on this best plumbers in Denver search query. This is all done through the local pack. This is all done through the Google Business Profile. And this right here is Google's dominance. This is where they're always going to win because this is theirs. They're not going to let AI creep into this and take away the market share of local search. I believe in this thoroughly. There's plenty of opportunities for people to build businesses online, but in my opinion, the low risk, the insane availability of customers and the evergreen nature of local SEO makes it so that you can't go wrong here. If you put even a little bit of effort forward, if you learn how to do some basic marketing, if you learn how to do some basic sales, you can get 10, 15 clients in your city, in your neighborhood, in your town, and profit 300, 400, $1 million if you got a super revenue generating agency, but easily six figures. You can easily get six figures in your pocket every year through this very simple but very effective business model. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I answer every single question. Please smash that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you on the next one.